When I heard Sony was going to reimagine the Spider-Man franchise so quickly, so soon after Spider-Man 3, just 5 years, I thought it was way too soon. And sadly, nothing about The Amazing Spider-Man is amazing. Andrew Garfield from The Social Network stars as Peter Parker. When he was a young boy, Peter's mother and father leave him and never come back. He's lived with his aunt and uncle in New York City ever since. Peter's now a high school senior, and he starts to take an interest in science and in classmate Gwen Stacy, played by Emma Stone. An old photo leads Peter to Dr. Kurt Connors, played by Rhys Ifans, a genetic scientist who worked with Peter's father until he disappeared. Connors is still seeking a breakthrough in cross-genetics. While in the lab, Peter is bitten by a spider, which gives him incredible strength and the ability to swing into action. Peter uses his new powers to become the crime-fighting Spider-Man, and soon he has to try to save the entire city from a wild creature on the loose.
So this seems like a very familiar story. Is there any more bite to this Spidey saga?
Absolutely not. There is no mystery or suspense. Everything is very straightforward and right out in the open. If you're expecting twists, layers, and surprises in this script, you're watching the wrong movie. But the visuals, including the CGI, are top-notch.
Now also, how are the performances from the new stars of this franchise?
Garfield and Stone are just okay together. A lot of their dialogue is corny, especially with the police chief and Gwen's father, played by Dennis Leary. One big problem here, Stone's 23, Garfield's 28, and they're playing 17-year-olds. Since this is a reimagining of the franchise, the studio could have cast younger actors or put them in college instead.
And lastly, of course, we need to find out a grade.
On the official LCJ report card, The Amazing Spider-Man gets a C, one of the summer's biggest disappointments so far.
All right, well, let's see if the next movie did a little bit better. Another movie out this week focuses on the life of a popular singer with a very huge fan base.
Yes, Katy Perry is one of the biggest pop singers in the music industry today, and her new concert documentary, Part of Me, is one of the better recent films in this genre. Perry, like most successful singers, started performing at a very young age. Her parents were traveling ministers, so she could only listen to and sing Christian music. But after finally getting exposed to outside music, Katy decided to pursue a career and focus on writing and singing songs that had some meaning to her life. Part of Me delves into her struggles with a few early record labels that dropped her and how she finally became a star. We see interviews with family members, managers, assistants, and Katy herself. Part of Me's main purpose is for fans to experience what went on during Perry's 2011 world tour and how she felt about her life at the time.
Now, I'm guessing that you're not a huge fan of her music, but you liked the movie anyway. What made it so appealing to you?
We hear from Perry throughout the documentary, and comparing this to Justin Bieber's Con Doc, that's what I'm going to call it, he hardly spoke about his life at all in that film. There are some candid interviews, especially on the topic of her recent divorce from actor Russell Brand, and all of this helps take this film to a level above the typical concert documentary. And this just isn't a 3D concert with a little backstage footage and a couple of stories. In fact, I think it's split 50-50.
Now, besides the behind-the-scenes footage, obviously fans are going to want to see Perry sing all of her hits as well.
Right. And Perry fans, they definitely will not be disappointed with all of the music. There are plenty of songs here, wild costumes and production numbers. The 3D is best used with the concert footage, which isn't a huge surprise, and there are only a couple of intentional gimmicks at the audience and a few humorous moments.
And lastly, we need to get a grade from you, Jackson, in those fabulous glasses.
Yes. On the official LCJ report card, Katy Perry, Part of Me, gets a B. It's a well-made movie about an interesting life, and if you do see it in 3D, you get these cool pink and blue glasses.